Okay, good evening, everyone. We'll begin now. Is there anyone who is joining for the first time in this session? I see. Okay. So, have you guys gone through the previous lecture recordings or the session recordings? Are there any queries from there? Yeah, please feel free to ask any queries you may have from the previous sessions. We'll do a brief recap of what we studied last time. But yeah, I'll be happy to answer your queries if you have any. Srinivas, I'll come to your query shortly. Okay. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, my name is Sai Jaiswal and I'm a PhD student in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Madras. So let's get started. Let me turn off the video to save some bandwidth. Yeah. So in the previous week, covered some of the topics in Python, basic Python programming, which includes the variables in Python, like how the Python variables should be named. We saw some basic functions in Python, inbuilt functions, including print, input, and we saw how you can add comments to the code, like different ways of commenting, like single line commenting, multi-line commenting. And then we saw some data types in Python, like int, float, uh, string, and boolean. And then we saw some operators which can be used to perform certain operations on these data types. There are many data types which we will be looking into uh, today. And then we saw some conditional statements like if else, and if else. And then we went on to loops in Python. We also saw some like how you can define your own function, like the user-defined function. So we'll be touching upon these topics in today's session as well. But before we move ahead, like, are there any queries? Assignment. We'll see this assignment related queries towards the end, Srinivas. I'm actually not allowed to discuss the assignments which are not yet over, like the due date for which the due date is not yet over. So, but we'll look into the concept. Like, if there is any concept that you are finding difficult to understand, we'll discuss the concept, but not exactly the question. Okay, great. Yeah. So we'll discuss this assignment related queries towards the end. Let us first discuss some of the topics. Maybe that might
Excuse me, sir.
answer your queries. Yes.
Sir, in week two assignment one and two, when I'm running it in Spider, the program is running fine and it's
Hmm.
giving the output as given in the public test. But when I'm running in the Joy of Computing platform,
Hmm.
it is showing wrong answer.
I see. Yeah, would you please put this on the discussion forum because that is the logistic related query that the other team needs to handle. So I'm not actually a right person to answer this query, but yeah, definitely please uh, put that on the discussion forum. So one of the team members will definitely try to answer this.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So for whatever assignment the due date is over, we can definitely discuss those assignments now. But towards the end, like we'll see that. So let us now begin. Before we begin, let us see this question from the previous session. So what will be the output of this code? So many of you got it right last time. So please try it again, and we'll discuss it quickly. Oops, sorry. This time also the options are all A. So it is A, B, C, and D. Okay, so yeah, the correct answer is Earth is round. Option B, Earth is round. and moon has lots of dust. So what we saw in the last class, last session was like print every single print statement by default adds a new line character. So whatever you print over here, a new line character is going to get added by default. So if you don't want that new line character to be added, let me just share this. Yeah. So let me print this. Print Saish Jaiswal. I am a TA. Okay. So let me just print this. Minute. Okay. For those of you who do not know, we are using a Google Collaboratory notebook, like Google Colab notebook. So this is like an online platform wherein you can run your Python code. So it is easy for me to explain here, and also like it gets stored on Drive, so I can share it with you as well. So you can access it and play around with this notebook later, like by creating a copy of it. Okay, so here you can see that I have put this one print statement and another print statement, and then both of these are printed on the next line. So if you don't want this to be printed on like this new line character to be added over here, so you can use this parameter to the print function called end. So you can just put space over here. So let me just print this. So you can see that now it has not printed this new line here. You will have to be very careful about this if it comes in the exam. Like you will have to see like what this end parameter is set to. By default, it is slash n. Like if you see, this is the new line character, which is there in most of the languages. So if it is there, you will get a new line here. And then if it is not, if end is just simply blank, so I'm adding a space as a delimiter over here. And what if I want to uh, join these two words? So in this case, okay, let me just remove now this part. So these two words, Saish Jaiswal, are getting added uh, by a delimiter space. What if I want to add something else? Like let's say uh, hyphen. So there is another parameter called sep, so which you can use to print all the strings in a print statement, like connect them with certain delimiter. Like for example, I can have any number of strings over here. Okay, and then you'll have to be careful with the syntax. Every string is separated by a comma, and then there is this uh, parameter over here. So you can see that Sai Jaiswal is a TA. Everything is separated by a hyphen. I can have anything over here, like multiple hyphens and so on. Okay. So this was about basic print functionality and how you can use the parameters to print function end and sep. So is it clear, everyone?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, can we give any symbols over sir?
Sorry.
Can we give any symbols
Yeah,
to
you can
set?
have any symbol over here. Like you can even have add dollar. Let me just put it over here. Hash, everything, unless it is like string, you can just have anything over here.
We can't
Yeah.
put any string over there.
Yeah, you can see, it is in the string, like it's in the string, right? So this particular string will be acting as a delimiter here. So you can see that everything is separated by this delimiter, at dollar and hash. So it should be a valid string, by the way. Like it cannot be
If
like if
numbers
you,
is allowed,
yeah, even you can have number here in the string. So it will be acting as a string here. Like if you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the quotation mark. So let me just run this. So you will be having this string separated by this delimiter, which is also a string. Okay, let me just show. Somebody asked the question. Is that clear, by the way? Whosoever asked the query?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Delimiter means something which separates two strings. Is that clear, Srinivas? Okay, great. So let me go to the course here. All courses. Oops. Yeah. So somebody asked question regarding where the discussion forum is. So you'll have to go to this Q&A option over here. So this, if you continue from here, this will redirect you to a discussion forum, a Google discussion forum, wherein you can add your query with this option, new conversation, or you can also see some conversation over here. Like as you see, somebody has already added their comment over here, the query over here regarding week 2 assignment 1. So you can also see like if other people are responding to that. If not, you can put a reply to the same query here, and somebody else from the team might answer over there. So yeah, that's the only option as of now that I can suggest you regarding any logistic related queries. Okay, so but if there are any conceptual queries, please feel free to ask during the sessions. Okay, so let's get going. And this week we are going to cover uh, many of these topics. I'm not sure if I'll be able to cover all of these topics, but let's see. Like we saw loops in the last session, but we'll also go over it and then we'll discuss continue and break statements. Then we'll go on to list data structure. If time permits, I'll also touch upon the other data types, data structures like uh, sets, tuples or tuples, and dictionary. But we'll see that in the later weeks because they are anyway going to be covered in the later week lectures. And then we'll see some loops along with conditional statements. And then uh, we'll touch upon some of these libraries that you can use to find some statistical parameters like mean, median, mode, etc. We'll look into matplotlib library, which can be used for plotting data. Functions we have already seen in the last session, but we'll again touch upon it once again. Then we'll see some other libraries, including random, which you can use to generate random numbers. And then we'll see this join operation, and then maybe, if possible, we'll see the file handling part. Okay. So let us see the loop first. Okay, I hope the collab is visible to everyone, the collab notebook. Okay. So in the last session, we saw two loops in Python, while and for. Each had its own syntax. So for loop runs on a certain number of iterations, like on an iterator. So iterator is nothing but any list. For example, a list. For that, we'll have to discuss list in detail. But let me just uh, give you an example. For I in range 10, print I. So this loop will run over the list given by this function called range. So range n, whatever value n is there, it will give you a list of numbers from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so this is running on each element in this range given by this range. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9. It can be anything like 100 and so on. Okay, and then while loop was similar. So if you want to do similar sort of functionality using while loop, like let's say print till 10. I want to print 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9. Can Do you guys want to think over it and then suggest in the chat like how we can do that? Anyone? So in this case, you are having this range 10, which is giving you a list of numbers from 0 to 9. And this for loop is iterating over it. So this variable I, it can be anything. You can even have it as num or num in range. Okay, so it will do the same functionality. So this is just a variable which is taking one value at a time from this list. And then you're printing this. And then you will have to be very careful about the indentation in Python as we discussed in the last session. That indentation represents that the particular block of code or particular statements belong to a certain block. So in this case, print is belonging to this for loop. But if it were like something like this, print hi, so it will print hi only at the end because it is not indented over here. But if I were to put this, okay, so you'll have to be careful that the same indentation is used. So here I'm using tab, but you can either use space or something else. Okay, so you'll have to be very consistent across all the throughout the code, whatever code you're writing. So let me just print this. So you can see that the moment I moved this print high inside the loop or like indented it, it became it came into the realm of this particular for loop, and then it printed like in every iteration it printed this high. Okay, so now yeah, so somebody wrote it over here. Yeah, so that's correct. Yeah, unfortunately, it can't be indented over here in chat, but let me just show it to you. Okay, let me remove this. So yeah, uh, as Ritika pointed out, we'll have to. So here you had that an iterator, like on which you were uh, going, over which you are going, and then in this case, since while doesn't have this, while will have certain condition. So until the time this condition is true, it will keep on repeating the statements inside the while loop. So while some condition, and then you will have to print num. Okay, and the condition is while num is less than 10. And what you have to do here in this case, num is 0 first. So you'll have to initialize num to 0. In this case, it was by default taking it from this list, but here you will have to explicitly assign num as 0. It will check this condition, go inside, print it, and then here it won't increment. So by default, it was going to the next element in the list, but here in this case, you will have to increment the value of num explicitly. So let me just run this. So you can see that num equal to 0, while num is less than 10, print num and num equal to num plus 1. So it is printing first 0, then it is incrementing the value of num by 1, then again going back, checking the condition. If it is true, it is going in and then printing and then incrementing and so on. Okay, so both of these loops are doing same functionality. Just the way or the syntax of writing these two loops is different. And it all depends on the kind of code you're writing. Like in certain cases, you might prefer this for the readability or the logic. In certain cases, you might prefer the for loop. Okay, so is it clear, everyone?
Sir, in for case, how it is taking initial value as 0?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this range, oops, can you please be on mute? It's echoing. Yeah, so this range function, it actually gives you a list or a range of numbers from 0 to n minus 1. So whatever n value you will put over here. So let's say n equal to 10, and then I'll put 10 over here. So it will output a list or like a range from 0 to n minus 1. So let me just print this. So if n were 20, so it will give from 0 to 19. So it is by default taking it from this. But if you want to iterate over a certain range, let's say you don't want to start from 0, then you can give a starting point, let's say 1 or 2. So in this case, it will go from 2 to n minus 1. So it will go from 2 to n minus 1, which is 19. Is it clear, everyone?
Sir,
Uh-huh.
sir, in for loop we have to not write the condition about increment.
No, so by default, as I said, it will get clearer when you will go on to the list now. I'll discuss the list. So it will you might not be knowing what lists are. So it is going on every element in the list given by this range. So this range will give you a list of number, and then it is going over each element in that list. So there is no need of incrementing anything in this case. Whereas in this case, it is simple condition checking and there is no list involved here. So you'll have to increment the value of num. Okay. So please hold on to that query. We'll see the list and then it will get clearer. Yeah. So for somebody mentioned over here, Harsh, yeah, thanks for mentioning that. So there is in this range, there is another functionality called step. So steps are like from what is the jump that you want to take for every value after every value. So like I want to let me just run this. So here it is taking a jump of 2. So it's starting from 2, then 2 plus 2, 4. Yeah. So by default it is incrementing by 1. But if you want to give some increment value over here, you can also mention it like this. So it will be like uh, start, end, and the increment value or the steps. Okay, similarly in while loop, if you want to start, like let's do the similar kind of operation over here. So I am starting from 2, I'm printing this. I need to go till let's say 20 or 19 in this case, and then I'm incrementing it by 2. So it will print the same thing as it did in the for loop. Is it clear, everyone? What if you want the sequence of numbers with difference 2 or more in the for loop? Yeah, you can even have that. You can have 3 over here. So it will give you a sequence with a jump of 3. Does that answer your query? Uh, Lakshmi, Shirisha, does that answer your query? Like, is it clear? Okay, great. Okay, so any queries so far, everyone? Yeah, please feel free to ask. These sessions are meant for you. So anytime you feel any queries, have any queries, please feel free to ask. Okay. So yeah, let us see what we have discussed. So we have discussed some introduction, like we introduced loops, and then we saw like how we can iterate over different range. Now let us see this continue and break. Okay, so I'll also cover this along with this continue and break. We'll also see this loops and conditionals. So how you can put conditions inside the loop. So let's say I want to just loop over without any steps. So I in range 20 print I. Let me just take 10 for simplicity. Okay, so it is printing from 0 to 9. But what if I only want to print uh, even numbers? But I don't want to change this.
I
So,
modulus equal to 0.
mhm.
I plus 2.
Yeah. So there are two
Before
ways. Like,
missing.
yeah. So there are two ways. Somebody rightly pointed out. Uh, one way is like you know where the starting point is 0, which itself is like even odd. Sorry, even. And then like you are just incrementing uh like by 2. So if you can just so you start from 0, go till 10, and increment by 2. So this is one way. Like you can print all the even numbers 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. But if you want, but in this case, we are changing this range. I don't want to change the range. So in that case, I'll have to put a condition over here. So if a number is even, so it means that number modulo as we saw in the previous session, one of the previous sessions, it gives you the remainder. So if num modulo 2 is 0 colon, and it needs to be within the if block, print type. So what it will do, it will loop over all the values of I, but if only this condition is true, it will print the value of I. So let me just run this. So you can see it has printed exactly the same output as earlier, but we are not changing the for statement like this loop statement. Here only we are putting some condition within the loop. So is it okay, everyone? Like, is it clear? Yeah. Is there anyone who didn't get it? I'll explain it again. Okay, great. So this was about putting conditions in loop. Okay. But sometimes it might happen that you don't want to print beyond certain range, or you want to just stop the loop at certain point. So that for that, let us see this while loop. So while uh, so this will run an infinite loop. So if I just write while true, so in this case, it was checking this condition, and then if it was true, it will go inside and then print it or do these operations. Yeah, somebody had a query.
Can you please give else condition in for loops?
Oh, else condition. Yeah, you can even put else condition. Yeah. So else, let me just remove this for the time being. Else, if you want to just say print high. So on even numbers, I'm printing even number, the actual number, and on odd positions, I'm just printing high. So it will be like this. Is it clear? You can have
Yes, sir.
anything over there. You can have if, elif, else. You can have even nested loops. I'll show you how the nested loop can be done. Sorry, nested conditions, and even nested loops can be written. We'll come to that later. So let us go step by step. So yeah, what I was discussing, yeah. So in while loop, let's say you have this while true. So by default, actually in Python, this capital TRUE is a Boolean value, and capital FALSC is also a Boolean value. So if you assign it to a variable, its type will become Boolean type. Okay, let me just print type of B. So says the type is bool. Okay, but if I were to give it 0, then it will become an integer. Okay, so true can be also treated as 1 here. If you just write 1 over here, this is equivalent to writing true, but the data type of this now or number here is like integer. Okay, okay. So while true, like this will go on running till the time you stop it. So to stop it, like while true, let me just initialize a variable num equal to 0, and then I want to say print num and num equal to num plus 1. Okay, so in this case, we were stopping when num becomes 20 or 19. So let me write it again here. So num equal to 0 while num, sorry, num less than 20, print num, or less than 10. Uh, yeah, so here I have run into an infinite loop. Why? Because I was not incrementing the value of num, it was just constant. So that's why it kept running uh, again and again, because the value of num was not changing. So if I want to stop it, I'll have to increment the value of num over here. So num equal to num plus 1, and now it has run from 0 to 9, like num is going from 0 to 9. What if I don't give this condition over here, like while true or while 1? So how do I come out of this loop? Because this condition check is not happening over here. So in that case, you can use this break statement. So if num is uh, greater than equal to 20, or like equal to 20 in this case, I just write break. So break means simply break out of the loop. Okay, so let me just print this. Okay, let us run till 10. It has done the same job as earlier. Num equal to 0 while true. So here there was a condition which was getting checked, but here there is no condition, means it's always true. So if you want to break, so this was explicitly breaking it, like when this condition was becoming false. But this is always true. So if you want to break it at a certain condition or point, you'll have to use this break with an if statement inside the loop. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about the others? Yeah, please confirm if you have got it, and if you have not, please I'll repeat it. Okay, great.
Sir,
Yes.
give some statement under break.
Break after break.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you do something after break, it won't print. So it will simply break over there. So nothing after break will be executed. So it will just break at this point. But if it is outside this, if, then it will print it. So 0, hello, 1, hello, and so on till 9. And then once it has reached 10, it won't go further. It will just stop at this break and then come out of the loop. If we don't use break, then also it shows value up to 10. Uh, no, in that case it won't, because in this case, in this particular case, it won't go till like it will even go beyond 10 if you don't break it, because the condition is always true. So it won't have any stopping condition. In this case, it is true. Means if you just give the condition here, like if n equal less than equal to 10, you can print this, it will print till 10. But in this case, it will, you'll have to stop it at certain condition. Okay, it means break is used to drag the program out of the loop and continue. Yeah, that's true. And there is another statement called continue, like I will discuss it now. Okay, so what if I want to say, like if a particular number is not to, it's to be excluded. Okay, so in that case, if let's say I don't want to print 5, let me just remove this hello and run this. Let's say I just want to, so it is right now printing from 0 to 9. I want to exclude 5. So if num is equal to 5, I'll just say continue. So what it does is like it will just, if check the condition, if it is true, it will continue and go on to the next iteration. It won't do any kind of printing over here. Let's say print hi. So you can see that it has printed 0, printed high, then went on to 1, printed high, and so on. The moment it reached 5, it checked this condition and continued. It didn't print this high and did all this, whatever is after this continue, means this if condition. It just skipped that, and then it went on to the next iteration. So that is the use of continue. Like if you just want to do nothing and then go on to the next iteration, you can use this continue statement. And if you want to break out of
Sir,
the loop, yeah,
sir, can you repeat this?
okay, yeah. So let's say you don't want to perform any operation after condition checking for a certain condition inside the loop. So here, what I want to do is I don't want to do anything after 5. Like if the number is 5, there might be something else like print hi, print hello, let's say bye, and so on. So whatever lines of codes are there after this, let me just put this by over here. So whatever lines of codes are here after this, it won't be printed once you reach this condition. So if number is 5, it will continue without executing this. Is that clear? Uh, the person who had a query, like, is that clear? Like, okay, let me just separate this particular line so that it is clear and clean to understand.
Sir, what is the use of continue, sir?
Yeah, so continue is doing, so it is just going on to the next iteration. So if you are meeting certain condition and you don't want to perform other tasks, so like if there are some customers in certain age group, so if a person, let's say, comes in the age group 18 to 20, 18 to, let's say, 40. So if the person is in 18 to 40, you want to perform certain task for that person. But if the person, if there is a long queue actually, and then if there are certain people who are like elder than 40 or like younger than 18 years of age, then you just want to continue. You don't want to perform those tasks which are meant for the people who in the range of age 18 to 40. So if that's the case, so here in this case, when the number is 5, I'm just continuing to the next person or the next iteration. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why high and why didn't appear after 4? Okay, let us see. Yeah. So let us see it step by step. So first, 0 is getting printed. Then number is getting incremented to 1. Then it is checking the condition. So when it is 4, when the number is here 4, it is becoming 5 over here. And that's why this condition is being checked and it's continuing for the next iteration. And that's why you are not seeing this after 4 over here. But if I were to put this condition after 5, like this num equal to num plus 1, let me just do this here. Oops. Let me stop this. It just ran into an infinite loop. Okay. So regarding your query, what was happening? It is printing num, incrementing the value of num, and checking the condition over here. And then if it is 5, becoming 5, then it's not doing any other task after this. So let me just put this print here. Okay. So in this case, what is happening? Num is becoming 1 or let me just put num as -1 here. So num is becoming 0
Sir,
first, and then it's checking the condition here, then printing num, and then printing the other values. Okay, so the moment it becomes 5, then it will continue and not print anything. Is it clear?
So
sir,
if you take in the first loop n equals to 10, then we'll get an infinite loop. Is that true?
Yeah, n equals to 10. Yes, that is true. Because once the n, so let me just show it to you. So n is 10 over here. When it enters the loop, number will become 11. And then this will keep on repeating because the condition is always true. And this condition will not be met anytime because n is always greater than equal to 10. So let me just run this for you. So you can see that it is running into an infinite loop. I'll have to manually stop it.
sir,
Uh-huh.
I can't understand the if and continue
Mm-hmm.
because if 10 equal to 5, the condition is false. Then how the remaining part of the loop will run?
Uh, Sorry, can you please repeat?
If I am incrementing the value,
Mm.
I am initializing num into 1.
Mm. Okay,
It's
let me
checking
just
the condition.
initialize num equal to
Uh,
1. Mm.
if it checks the condition, if condition num,
Mm.
that means 1 equal to 5, the condition becomes false. Then how the continue part will run and the remaining part of the loop will
Yeah,
execute?
that's what. So if it is not true, then it won't continue to the next iteration. If it is true, if the number is 5, it won't execute anything after this. So this condition will become true and it will continue to the next step. It will skip all this part.
Can you please execute now the code?
Okay.
Okay,
So
fine.
here number is 1. It has become 2 here. It is checking this condition. It is
It
false.
becomes
So it is just
false.
printing and then checking this condition. It is also false. So going on to the next step. Once it comes to 5, so here number has become 4 in one step. It has become 5 here. It checks this condition. If it is 5, it will just continue. It won't print that number. So you can see that 5 is not printed over here. Is that clear, everyone?
Sir, please repeat again, please. One more.
Okay. So num is 1. It is entering. So here, what will be the value of num now? It will be 2. It is
Yes.
checking 2 is not equal to 5. So this is false. So it is just printing 2. Then it is checking 2 equal to 10. No. Then it is going again in the loop. Now num is already 2. So it will become 3. So now it is checking 3 equal to 5. No. It was printing 3. Then checking 3 equal to 10. No. Then going on to the next step. Now num will become 4. Now the same thing. 4 equal to 5. No. Print num 4 and check this. No. And then go on. Now num will become 5. Now it is checking this num equal to 5. It is true. It is continuing. It is not doing this printing and all these things which are after this. So now it is just going on to the next step and num is becoming 6 and then so on. Is it clear now?
It will terminate the remaining part of the loop, correct?
Sorry.
Continue will terminate the remaining part of the loop.
Continue will not terminate. It will not execute the remaining. So the terminology is just you need to correct it. It is not terminating this. It is not executing this.
It skips.
It Yeah, it skips that. Exactly.
Okay, sir. Thank you for
Okay.
your good explanation.
Okay. Great. So be- is there anyone having any other query? Yeah, please feel free to ask. Okay.
Sir, after the 10, it will come out of the loop, sir.
Yeah. So when it becomes 10, so it will check this condition. If it is 10, it will just break. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So we have seen loops, we have seen this continue and break statements, and then we'll see lists now. And then I'll come on to the query, like one of the person or students had a query regarding why this list, how in the for loop everything is getting initialized automatically. So we'll see it now. Okay, so first of all, what is the use of list? So a list is nothing but a collection of objects, and objects can be of any type, like integer, string, float, or anything. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have 5 students. So one way is to have 5 variables for each student. So S1 equal to Saish, S2 Rohan, S3, and so on. I'm just writing some random names over here. Okay, and I want to print this. S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. Okay, and if I want to do certain operations on this later, like concatenate two strings and so on, that can be done. But if you have 100 students, so uh, you will have to, write hundreds of variables, which is not feasible always. So what you can do is you can simply declare, instead of doing all this, so let me just put the delimiter as /n so that it is printed on new line. Sorry. Oops. Sep. Okay. So I'm separating this 5 strings by a new line character /n. Now, if I have 100 such students, I'll have to declare 100 variables, which is not feasible. Like if it were like 1,000 students, then I'll have to insert 1,000 students, declare 1,000 variables. And what if like if some student leaves, let's say like I have to remove Saish from here. So in that case, I'll have to remove this particular variable from the code. So that is also like a cumbersome task. What you can do simply is you can just declare a list students, and then you can have this name in the list. So this is the syntax. Okay. So you are declaring only one variable, which is of the type list, and the syntax is like this. You'll have to notice it carefully. So this is a square bracket. So curly brace will mean something else. We'll look into that. And then the round bracket or parenthesis will also mean something else. So that is another data type. We'll come to that later. So you'll have to be careful. So these square brackets are list. They indicate this is a list. And then it is a collection of object. Here, in this case, it's string. It can be collection of multiple types of object. Like I can also have other types. I'll discuss that later. Let me just print this list now. Okay. And let me also print the type of this list. Oops, sorry. Students. So you can see that it belongs to the class list. Just forget about what this class is. It has this data type list. Okay, but in this case, when I'm printing it, it is printing the exact list as this. Okay, but I want the output to be like this. What I have to do, I have to iterate or run over each element in this list. So how that I can do that? I can use a for loop for let's say student in students. print student. So you can see the output is similar to what we saw earlier. So it is iterating over each element in this list. So coming to the query that someone had. So when you write here, like for num in range 10, print num. So this range 10 by default, let me just add a comment here. So range 10 gives you a list 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on up to 9, n minus 1. And then for num in this list, you are printing num. So that's why it was getting initialized to 0. Is that clear? Whosoever asked the query. Any query in this particular topic? Okay. Okay. I hope everybody is understanding. Like, if please don't be shy or hesitant to ask questions. You can ask or put in chat as well. Okay. Yeah. So this was about list. And then now you can perform various operations on list. Before going to that, you can even have, like, as I said earlier, let's say sample list. And you can have size. Then you can have another number 10 and 12.5, and then true here. And what is the other data type that we have in? So let us say for now. Okay. So this is a list, and you can for item in sample list. This item is a variable. Any you can give anything over here. So like let me just literally like write anything for anything in list, print anything. So it is printing size 10, 12.5 true. Even you can print the type of that, type of each variable. So let me just print type of anything. So you can see it is printing type of size, which is str, type of 10, which is int, type of 12.5, which is float, and then so on. So unlike other programming languages like C, C++, wherein you have a concept of arrays, here in list, Python list, you can have data type of any type in a list. Okay, it need not be of the same type like as strings or integers or floats or so on. Okay, is it clear? Okay, great. So this was about list. Now we'll see certain operations that can be performed on the list. So we saw how you can print the list. Then we'll see how you can do indexing on the list. Okay. So we had this list. Let us take this list. Okay. Sorry. Let us take this list again here. And let's say I want to access third student, which is Durga.
Sir,
So,
Google Colab is not visible.
oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, so I've just done this. Like I took this list from here, pasted it over here, and then what I want to do is I want to take the third student, like print the third student from this list. So how I can do is, so I just have to index that. So in indexing in Python starts from 0. So this is 0 index, 1 index, 2, 3, 4. So the third student will be having index 2. So let me just put 2. Oops, it should be students, not student. Okay. So this is the list students, and then you are taking the third element or the element with index 2 and printing it over here. If I want to print, let's say, the fourth person, so the index will be, sorry, 3. Okay, is it clear, everyone? So this is basic indexing in Python. So indexing in Python for any list, or you will see dictionary, tuple, set, and everything starts from 0, or collection, any collection of object. Okay. So what if I want
Sir,
to, yeah.
sir, I have one doubt. If
Mm-hmm.
we want to print it from something like Durga, Shivani, Shravani, Saj,
Mm-hmm.
and Rohan, what we have to do? I mean, like increment, anything will be there in that?
Oh, so you mean you want to rotate this, like you Durga should be first and then Shivaji, Shravani, and then Sai Rohan. Is that the case?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I think there is an operation in which you can perform on list, which is rotate. We'll see that, like you and I don't remember the syntax of it, but it is there. So we'll see that, like we'll come to that shortly. Okay, so yeah, let me just cover some of the basic topics and then we'll go on to that rotate option. Or let me just quickly see it if it is here. So rotate elements in list. Okay, so one way, okay, I'll come to this now. Then yeah, there is this rotate by 2. So let us, but this is like in the collection. Mm,
Sir, using slicing.
yeah, slicing is a straightforward way, but I'm just seeing that if the array itself can be rotated. Okay, let us go on to the slicing part. I'll explain it with slicing. Yeah, so there doesn't seem to be a direct function in like functionality for uh, list which can rotate the elements in the list, but you can use slicing. So I'll just explain that. But before going to that, let me tell you one thing that in Python, you can also have negative index. For example, if you want to access the last element in the list, you can simply write -1. So -1 means the last element in the list. So let me just print this. So it will print -1. So the starting index will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the ending index will be like -1, -2, -3. So -1 will give you the first element from the last, -2 will give you the second element from the last, and so on. Okay, so I hope till now this is clear. Okay, so let us now see this slicing. Okay, I'll come to slicing a little later. Let us see these other functionalities as well. So there are some other functionalities called append, insert, count, length, and then we'll go on to slicing. Okay, so what if I like, as I said earlier, I want to add one more student here. So I cannot keep on writing, like this same list. Like if I just want to add this one student here, I can't just write this list again and then add a student here, let's say Nisha. Okay. So this is again a cumbersome task. Like if you have thousands of such students, and then every time if you want to add one more student, you cannot just copy paste this and then write that. So in that case, there is a simple functionality in Python list called append. So append is a function. So I'm using an operator over here called dot operator, which is applicable on lists and some other data types. So what you're doing over here is students dot append, and then you want to append, let's say Nisha over here. And after this, let me print the status of the. So you can see Nisha is added towards the end, at the end of this particular list, students. Now, what if I want to insert niche another student at a given position? So this is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I want to insert one student in index 1. So let me just, so there is another functionality called insert, and then you have to go give the position, and then let's say, okay, so let me just print the list here. It should be students, not student here. So you can see that I've inserted this student Sahil in the first index or second position. What if I want to insert in some other position? Let's say I want to insert. So already the list contains Sahil. I'm just changing this, let's say 4, and I'll write Abdul. So you can see that Abdul is inserted at the 5th position, which is the index 4. Is it clear, everyone? Okay. So append will only add a new element towards the end or at the end, whereas this insert will insert a certain element at a given index. This was about append insert, and then count. So for count, let me just declare another list marks. So let's say the marks are given out of 5. So oops. So these are the marks of the students. So I want to count how many, what is the frequency of 1 or 3 or so and so on. So for that, I can use marks.count and the element value. So you can see marks.count 1 is repeating 3 times in this. 1, 2, and 3. Let me take for 2. So it is giving 3, 4. I think I've just added everything as 3. Let me just do for 5. Yeah, so 5 has these 2 entries here and here. So this was about how you can count the frequency of each element in this particular list. Then coming to the len. Okay, so this list has a certain length. Length in the sense, length means number of elements in the list. So if I just print, so there is a function called len. Okay, so it will give you the length of this list. So please note here, these are the functions which are applicable for list data type. So you have to access these functions using dot operator. But there are certain functions like len, print, and so on that take the input. They are not inside this built inside this list. Oh, sorry, for list. They are inbuilt functions in Python which accept certain parameters, including list and other collection of objects. And then you will have to give input to that function. Like this list is being passed as an input to this function instead of like calling like this marks.count. Okay, so you'll have to be very careful about this. So these are some simple functions which you can remember. Once you start using this, you'll get used to it. You need not mug this up, but you'll get hold of it as we proceed. Okay. Now there is another function called sort, which is again like for the list object. So if I just say, let me just print the list marks here. Print marks.
Hey, I just had a query.
Yes. Yeah, please hold on to that. I'm just doing sort and then print marks. So you can see over here, I had these marks with random numbers here and there, and I just applied this function sort, which is inbuilt again, like which is specific to this list object, and then I'm printing marks again. So you can see that the list is sorted in ascending order over here. There is another option, like if you want to sort it in descending order, you can also write marks.sort reverse equal to true. So there's a parameter in the sort function which you can use. And let me just print this marks. So you can see that it is sorted in reverse order. Yeah. So somebody had a query?
Yes, sir. For particular string, how can I find its length, sir?
Oh, for a string. Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
again, length function can be used. So let's say the string is S1, or let's say from the student. So
Sir, yes,
for
sir. Student, I
yeah.
need some for only size length. How can I find it, sir?
Okay, if you just want for size. Okay. So in students, okay, so students have size, Sahil, and so on. Size is at index 0. Let me just take size. And if you just want to print the length, I'm not using print function because by default the last statement in this cell will be printed. But yeah, so I can just use len and then pass this string over here. So it will give you the length of that string. So if you want to write like this as well, let me just size, then this is also the same thing. So if I want to just write name, size, and then pass this name over here, this will also give me the same output. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. By just entering index value of that, I can get the length of that.
Yeah, so let me just run a loop for student in students. Sorry, there's an error. Print len of student. So it will give me the length of the names here. So Sai, Sahil, Rohan, Durga, and all. So it will go on to every student and give me print the length of the name. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There is another way to access this. So you can do for I in range len of students print student of I. So this is indexing. Oh, sorry. Students of I. Yeah. So what is happening is, so len of students will give you the length of this list, which is students, which is right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you are going from 0 to 7, which is like length of students is 8. So you are going from 0 to length of students minus 1. And then you are printing the value at each index in the list. We're using this students and then bracket I. So if I want to just print the same thing, so I can again put this line over here for each student. Okay, so there is just a complex way of writing this same thing. Is it clear, everyone? What if we want to remove any element from the list? So yeah, there is an option. Let me see if it is delete. So delete an element from list Python. Yeah, so there is this remove option. So you can remove, and then there is pop as well. So pop will do the topmost one. So let us try this out once. So let us try this specific example. Put it in Colab. So this list, particular list has 3 elements, apple, banana, cherry. This list dot remove. So let me just print this list once. And then this list, I want to remove this particular element and then print this list. Okay, so you can see that this particular list is removed. So let me just try doing this. This list dot remove, and if I try to remove something which is not in the list, it will just throw an error, value error. It says that this particular element is not found in the list. Okay. What if you want to remove certain element in the list at a given index? So in that case, you can just use, so list has now, okay, let me use the students list. Oops, sorry. Print students. So students has Sai, Sahil, Rohan, and so on. And I want to remove Rohan, which is at the, or let's say Sahil, which is at index 1. So I can just do students dot remove and students of 1. Okay, and then let me just print students. So you can see I could have written like simply students dot remove and in quotation Sahil, but this is also doing the same thing. Like students, from students you are indexing 1 Sahil, and then you are removing that student. Is it clear?
Sir, is it possible to read a list using keyboard?
Yeah, you can do that. So as you saw in append, so let me just declare an empty. Okay, did we discuss append yet? Yeah, yes. So let me declare an empty list. So this is how you can declare. So this is my list. By the way, you cannot use the keyword list over here. You cannot have a variable with name list because list is the Python keyword. We'll see this later. Okay, so let's say for I in range 5, I'll take a fruit equals to input, enter a fruit name, and then my list dot append fruit. So let me just run this. So I'll say mango, banana, apple, pineapple, and let's say some random fruit. Okay, and let me print this, my list. So you can see it has created a list. So what I was doing, I just declared an empty list, which is having no element. Then I'm just running a loop, uh, which has the length 5, and I'm taking you input from the user, like one input at a time, and then I'm appending this to this empty list, and then it will go on appending one element at a time. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. But is it possible to input numbers or
Yeah,
float?
you can
Float.
even you can actually put number, but one thing over here is you'll have to be careful. Input takes everything as string, so you'll have to do a type conversion over here. So let me just enter a number and declare this variable also as number. And for my list, for I in range 5, num equal to input, my list dot append num. So if I just enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and print this list, you'll see that everything in this is a string. Now, if I want to have these elements as numbers, I'll have to explicitly say that append int of number. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let me just print this again. So you can see now it is number. Is it clear?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other queries? Okay, I think we are running behind the schedule. So let's see. Yeah, we'll come to the slicing and so reverse is again a function like sort.
Sir,
Yes. Yeah, please go ahead. What is your query? Okay, I think we lost the person. So yeah, once they are back, like we can have their questions.
sir, sir, am
Yeah.
I audible?
Yes.
Sir, if you want to enter an input at runtime
Hmm.
in list, how can we do that?
Yeah, that's what we saw now. This is what we were doing. So we were.
Using up and off. Without using up and off, we can't enter a num.
You can do insert, like if you want to insert, but it should be within the range. Like you cannot insert at some random position. Like let's say the list length is only 9 or 8 and you want to insert at 100, that might not be a valid uh, position. Okay, so you'll have to be like if you want to enter towards the end, you can just simply use append. There is another function called extend. We'll see that, uh, which is used to merge two lists. But yeah, before going ahead, I just want to make sure everybody is on the same page. So is there any query now so far till in these topics? Okay, great. So we saw loops, continue, break. We saw in list, print, indexing, append, insert, count, len, sort, and reverse. So reverse is nothing but similar to sort. So if I just want to do this, my list dot reverse and print my list, it will simply reverse it, which is equivalent to doing sort reverse equal to true. What we did here somewhere, yeah. So max dot sort reverse equal to true is same as mileage dot reverse or max dot reverse, whatever. Okay, and then coming to the important concept, slicing. Okay, so I here let me print the students again. So students has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 students. So I can also print a particular student using indexing. Let's say I want to print Rohan. Oops, sorry, not student of one, students of one. So I want to print Rohan. So I can use the index of Rohan and then print it. What if I want to print from Rohan to Shivaji? So in that case, oops, sorry, I can use the slicing students. So what is the index of Rohan? 1, then 2, 3, and 4. So in this case, when you slice something, you'll have to give one more than till the position you want to slice. So let us see this. Oops, sorry, my bad. 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 1 to 5. So it is 1 is inclusive and 5 is exclusive in this case. So if you want to slice this is equivalent to slicing this list. So you can give the starting index and end index plus 1 till where you want to go. Okay, so this is the basic slicing. Is it clear, everyone? Any queries in this slicing? Okay, great. So coming to the question, somebody asked, by the way, you can also slice like this. So if I want to take every student after this, Durga, so I can do print students 1 and nothing. 1 colon. Yeah, so you'll have to give colon over here. You can see that. So there's a colon over here. So it means starting and end index plus one. So if you don't mention the end over here, it means till the end of this list. So let me print this. So it is printing from Rohan, which is having index one, Rohan, Durga, Abdul, Shivaji, Shavni, Nisha. What if I want to print only till Shivaji? So I can do print students. Any guesses how it can be done? Everyone?
1:4.
No, 1:4 will give you from 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3. But I want to print from Sai till Shivaji. One easy way is like 0 to 4. But there is another way. I can just simply write till 4 or till 5. Sorry. Yeah. So it will take, so by default, if you don't mention anything, it will take 0. Similarly, if you don't mention anything after colon, it will take the end index. So, and if you mention both the things, it will take the starting and then end minus 1. Whatever end over here is there, minus 1. Okay, so is it clear, everyone? Okay, so there is another way. If you want to go till, as we saw, like indexing can be negative as well. So print students of negative 1 will give me Nisha. If it is negative 2, it will give me Shravani. So I can print, if I want to print till last second student. So I can just simply write, sorry. Okay, so is it clear? So I'm writing negative 2 over here. So it will going from starting till last second, like excluding that last second. Okay. So this was about slicing. Like you can slice an array or a list using this slicing operation. So coming to someone's query, like what if we want to have Shravani Nisha here in the beginning and then followed by Rohan, Durga, and so on. So let us now, first of all, before going to that, see two lists. Like let's say I have just list one. Can everyone please be on mute? Okay. So 1, 2, 3. And I have another list. 4, 5, 6. So what if I do list one dot append list two? So what will be the output of it? Can anyone guess?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah, so let us see. Oops. Yeah, the earlier one was giving the output of this operation. So I wanted to print list one actually after this operation was done. So let me just run this. So you can see that this list itself got added as an element to this list one. Is it clear, everyone? So it will append will only add directly that element, whatever element you are appending to it. Okay. Is it clear? Whosoever mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. What if I don't want to do this? operation. Like I want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just want to concatenate these two lists. So in that case, I can use another operation. Let me copy everything over here again, called extend. Now let us print list one. In this case, you can see it has extended this list one with list two. So it has just concatenated the two lists. And also you can do like this. So let me declare list 3, list 1 plus list 2 and print list 3. So this will also give me a concatenation of two lists, list 1, list 2, this plus operator. Okay. So is it clear, everyone? Like what this append, extend, and plus operators are doing?
Sir, I have one doubt. Can we use this plus operator or append operator in list with strings?
Yeah, you can use that. So let's say I have this all. I have already declared this list students. Let me print this. So I have suppose new students, a list, and let me just give a random name now, S1, S2. And I want to append or extend this particular list with this list, new student. So I can just simply write students dot extend new student, and let me print students. So you can see that S1 and S2 got extended or concatenated to the existing list. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So coming to that question for which we discuss all of this, how you can, if you want to print Shravani, Nisha, and then Saish, Sahil, Rohan, Durga, Abdul, Shivaji, one logic is to create a, okay, so like new list. And I want to print S1, S2 first. New list equal to students of. So what can I do? I want to start from last second. So let me just print it here. Okay, it's not giving me this new code. Okay, let me just write here. Okay. So students of Nick all will give me S1, S2, and students of all 2, -2 will give me Sai till Nisha. So I'll just say rotated list equal to student of -2 to all, which is like last two, plus students of all to -2, which is this first. And let me just print rotated list. And also for student in rotated list, print student. So this is what we were discussing. So there are multiple operations that you have performed. We have done slicing with negative indexing, and then we have concatenated these two lists. We have added it to another list, and we have looped over or like iterated over that new list. Okay. So is it clear, everyone?
So can we do like -2 colon 7?
-2 colon 7. Yeah, yeah. Let us try. Let us see. I'm not sure if that is a valid statement in Python, but yeah, let us try it out.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I wanted to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
When to use Python list and when to use the tuple dictionaries and or
We'll come to
sets?
that. Yeah, we'll come to that. When we discuss this tuple dictionary, we'll discuss it later. I don't want to confuse others now, but these are
Okay,
also different data types, and each has its own functionalities, which will be seeing later in this course.
okay.
Okay, yeah. So here it's not giving anything. Probably like this indexing is not a valid indexing in Python. So yeah, that's it. But I think you can do from negative, let's say -3 to -1. So I think this should be a valid one. Yeah, so this is a valid one. So let us see what students have. So students has Sai, Rohan, Durga, and so on, S1, S2. So it is giving from Nisha and S1. So this is excluding that last S2 and giving till that. So let's say -6. So it will give the sixth element like Abdul, Shivaji, Shravani, Nisha, and S1, excluding this one. Okay. And yeah, that's it. So is it clear so far, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us see what all we are left with. And we'll quickly see some questions. Yeah, so we have seen slicing. There is another thing called membership. I'll quickly see that and then we'll see. So if so students has all these members. So if I want to see if Saish is in if Saish in, so there is an operator called in, membership operator, students print Saish is present. Okay. So if a particular element is in this list, it will be true, and then you can do certain operation. It can be applicable to any data type. Like if a number is in list, there is a number, if there is a mark value in a list of marks, then you can just print, yeah, somebody got 5 marks. That's it. Is it clear? This membership operator in. Okay. Yeah, don't please don't be overwhelmed with all these concepts. It will be easy for you later. Like once you start practicing it, you'll get used to it. Uh, I've been using Python for many years, but still I don't remember certain syntax. I simply just search, like if I don't remember something, I just search online and get some help from the online forums. So you need not remember everything. You can always take help from online resources, but these are certain things that you will get used to once you start using Python and start coding yourself. Okay. So this was all about lists. We saw loops and conditionals. Maybe I'll just keep this part for now. Okay, let me just discuss statistics. Uh, for that, I'll have to introduce what libraries are, and then maybe we'll just see the rest later, unless it is needed for your um, assignment. So we'll see statistic library, and then we'll see random library. Matplotlib and all, I'll just quickly discuss over W3 schools. Okay, so in Python, there are certain inbuilt functions, but there are certain libraries as well. So what these libraries are, these are libraries of functions. So as you have libraries of books, in Python, there is libraries of functions which you can use to perform certain operations. So one of such libraries is statistics. So to import a library, you just have to write import and the statistics, means the library name. There is another syntax also. If you want to import any specific function from this library, you can use from statistics.
Sir, what is library?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Library is a library of functions. So you have this print, len, and all these are inbuilt functions in Python. But what if, like, if I want to have a club of all the functions, like there are these functions like mean, median, mode, which are not directly available in Python. So there are libraries like statistics which contain this mean, median, mode that you can use from the libraries. Okay, so let us see an example. Let me just first show you. So we had this list called marks. Where is that? Yeah, here it is. And I want to print the mean or the average of marks. So I can just simply write statistics dot mean and marks. Similarly, if I want to print median of the marks, median marks, and if you want to print statistics uh, mode, yeah. So let me run this. So this has given me the mean of all these values, the average of all these values. This is giving the median. This also the mode of the marks can be computed with this. But these are not the only function in statistics. So if you just see statistics, so you can see that there are multiple such functions like ERF, EXP, and so on, math, and so there are like n number of functions available in this library statistics. Okay, oops, sorry. Yeah, but if I use this mean directly like this, mean of let's say marks, so it will throw an error because mean is not defined by default in Python. Like there is no function called mean directly, but you'll have to import it from this library statistics dot mean. So there is a library statistics and there is a function mean in that. So you'll have to use this dot operator over here. But what if I just want to import mean? Like I want to use it like this. So for that, I can use from statistics import mean, and then I can print mean of marks. So I can either import the entire library and use it, or I can import a certain function from the library and then use it directly without this statistics.mean. So I don't have to use this statistics.mean everywhere. So there is another thing as well. Yeah, please be on mute. So yeah, from statistics import mean as, or let me just write import statistics as stats. So this will also give me the same thing. So this as stats, so this is known as alias for this particular library statistics. So this is just like giving another name to this library. So you can use this. So you need not type statistics everywhere like
Sorry,
this long
sir,
thing.
it is like a pet name, no, sir?
Yeah, it's like a pet name or nickname, whatever you call. So you can have anything here, anything. Any value here. You can give any name, and then you can just call as anything dot mean. So you're giving this library some alias. So alias is alias, alias, and then you can use that to call the library. So in generally, people give smaller names to these longer libraries. So let's say st as statistics. So I can just call that st.mean. And then I can simply, if you don't want, I can just simply import the statistics from statistics. You can just import a function. And if that function name itself is like quite big, like let's say correlation. So, or let's say mean only. So mean, import mean as m. So I can just write m of marks, which will also give me the same thing. Is it clear, everyone? What libraries are and how you can import
Sir,
functions?
sir,
Hmm?
how to transfer from Python list into other data structure?
List to other data structure like arrays and dictionary tuple, you mean?
Ni- Anything array, yeah, dictionary tuple.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later yeah, because we have not discussed tuple dictionaries now yet. So we'll discuss that later. Like I'll resolve your query in the next session probably, like
Okay,
when we
okay,
discuss this other data structures.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, if I say mean as m, then I should not use m as a variable, no, sir?
Yeah, yeah. So m should not be a variable then. It will get overwritten then. If you just write here m equal to 1 and then again write m of marks, it will just throw you an error. Yeah, int object is not callable because m is now an integer. Okay, because it has, so if you just write print this m of marks, so it will print this over here. And then once you override this, it will throw an error saying that m is an integer, you cannot call it as a function. So this is a type error. Int object is not callable. Is that clear?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, how to determine the size of your list in Python? We have already made a list of just a list which you can EVVs use.
Yeah. So if you want to get the length of the list, there is a function called len. So I can just use print len of
In this
marks.
coding, the that is the len. The
Yeah.
function is not specifically the relative the length of your list, but you can also be used the without other sequence or collection.
Yeah, there are other libraries as well, like collections. I think is like one of the libraries. I don't remember exactly using it, but yeah, you can use other functionalities as well to get the length of the list or any other
Okay.
collection. Okay. Yeah, we'll look
Okay.
into it. I have also not remembering exactly what the syntax of collections was, like collection library functions. But yeah, definitely you can look into it. Yeah. So this was all about the functions. Like you can import the function, li sorry, libraries. There are in functions inside each library. And then there are user-defined libraries as well. Like this is statistics developed by someone. There are other libraries like OpenCV and all, which can be used for computer vision and other uh, tasks. So we'll look into these libraries later when we go into the advanced topics. So any queries so far? Is everything clear? Okay, great. So seeing loops, continue, break, list, loop and conditional, trim, mean, trim. We are not seeing this. There is a library called SciPy in which there is a another sub module called stats, and then there is this function called trim mean, which can be used to compute trim mean. So trim mean is nothing but like you have a list over here, long list like this marks, and you want to trim certain values from the beginning and also from the end, and then compute the marks here. Like you want to sort this just to exclude some outliers and then compute the mean, which will give you a better estimate of the average. So in that case, you can use the stream mean, but we'll not go into the details. This was already discussed in one of the lectures, so you can also look into that. But yeah, this is just a pointer over here.
Sir, what is declarative library for data visualization?
Data visualization, yeah. So that is like plotting library in Matplotlib. There are other libraries as well, like Seaborn. So we'll see what this Matplotlib is. I'll just go on to W3 School. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you please explain about trim mean?
Oh, trim mean. Okay. Let me run this. We're running actually short of time, but okay, let me just search online, like if there is an example, trim Python. Okay. So what it does, let's say, just don't worry about this NumPy now. So from SciPy, there is a library called SciPy import stats. Okay, and then in that stats, there is the stats is a submodule in SciPy. So stats.trimmean, trimmean is a function, and then you take this x. Okay, let me just run this here. Take this. And let me also print
Sir, SciPy
this.
is a library name.
Yes, and then stats is a sub module in that. And then that stats has this trimming function.
Sir, where can we check about libraries?
Yes, so I'll come to that. So there are this websites or forums, or I'll explain that shortly. So let me just show this to you. So if you just simply compute mean of this x, and let me just, oops, statistics and print stats.trim. So you'll see the values are different. The reason it is excluding 25% of the values to the left and to the right. So here, in this case, all the values were taken 1, 2, 3, 5. So the summation is 8 plus 2 plus 1, 11. 11 divided by 4, which is 2.75. And then if you just exclude 25% of the data points to the left and right, so it will be like 3 plus 2, and then there are only two elements, so 3 plus 2 divided by 2, it's 2.5. So is it clear what this string mean does? So it excludes certain percentage of points to the left and to the right, and then computes mean of the remaining points.
Sir, here you did not imported statistics, no sir. How come it gave output?
Statistics, because it was already imported here.
Okay, okay. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Because it was already imported, that's why it is not giving error. I'm directly using it. But if it were not imported, then it would have thrown error that this is not defined.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Is it clear? The person who asked this query about training. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, great. So, we saw loops, continue, break, list, loops and conditioner, trim,
Sir,
mean,
what are the
median, mode.
difference between description and inferential statics?
Descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Okay, so
Yeah.
for that you'll have to do the statistics course, but just to give you an example, so this mean, median, mode, which you are computing from the data directly, that is called the descriptive statistics of the data. Inferential
Okay.
statistics are something like you estimate certain parameter. For example, you estimate the mean from by doing some sort of sampling. So you don't have, let's say, you want to find out the average age of people in India. So it's not possible to go and
Okay.
compute the age of every single person in India and then take an average. In that case,
Okay.
you take sample of population and then compute average on that sample and then infer something about the population. Okay, so that is like the inferential statistic. So in that case, you don't have the population data, you just have sample data, and then from the sample, you infer something about the population.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so that was
Okay.
like a very basic definition. But yeah, if you want to learn more, please, you can do any of the statistics course online.
Sir, what is the keyword for importing any library, sir? It is from or import, sir?
Uh, oh, command. So if you want to import the entire library, you can just import the library, like import library name. But if you want to import such, here I was using statistics.mean, statistics.median, statistics.more, but I just want to use mean directly. So in that case, I can just do from statistics, where I have written that. So from statistics, import mean. So I can simply do this and then use mean directly. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Uh,
recommend a website to learn about libraries, how to import it,
yeah. So
and
yeah. I'll go to that. So let me go back here. So let's say you want to learn about SciPy uh, in Python. So you can simply search that. There are a number of sources over here. You can see that the official website of that library. So there will be certain developers who have developed that library. So scipy.org is a website wherein you can find the documentation of that particular library, wherein you will learn all that things which are there in the SciPy library. But this is like too much. You need not go over everything in the particular library. If you need something, you can just simply search online. So like, let's say if you want to find the mean of one, how to compute mean of list elements in Python. So you'll find n number of such forums, let's say over here. Okay, so it is like you just sum it up and then divide it by length. That is one way. Or you can do other ways like import statistics and then from statistics uh, use this mean library and so on. So you need not remember everything. There are information documentations available for every library. For example, you can even look into the library NumPy, Python. So there's this numpy.org and you will find the documentation over here, which contains all the functions in NumPy. And then there will be other, so W3 Schools, as I mentioned, contains everything, like tutorial for everything. You can go and look into it later. So you can see the NumPy tutorial, what is NumPy, how to use NumPy. For example, I was going to say about Matplotlib. Let me just go over here and search Matplotlib tutorial. So there is Python Matplotlib, which is used to plot data. Okay,
so
so
we
you can
can
look.
search our own library in W3 schools.
Not in W3 School necessarily. It may not have everything that exists online in Python. Like as I said, like people also develop their own libraries. So everything may not be in W3 schools, like the tutorial for every library, but you can definitely search online.
Can you
In
please say some common libraries that is repeatedly using nowadays?
I will go over some of these libraries in the upcoming sessions. So you'll get to know other libraries as well. Matplotlib is one such library. NumPy is one such library. And then Seaborn, as I said, is one such library that is used. Statistics is one such library. SciPy is a library, and there are many such libraries. For regarding Matplotlib, you can just go to W3 Schools and see this Matplotlib tutorial. You will see from very basics, you can see import Matplotlib, and then you can print the version of the Matplotlib. Let me just go on to the next. As I said in aliasing, so you can import matplotlib.pyplot. So there is like a submodule in matplotlib. You can import it as PLT, and then you can use PLT everywhere. So here, let me show you. Import matplotlib as PLT. You can ignore this numpy as NP for the time being. It is just converting this list to an array. So as somebody asked, like can you convert a list to some other data type? Yes, you just have to pass that into the constructor of that. So like here np.array, and then I'm passing a list. It is converting it to an array. I'm just plotting this. You can even directly put this list over here in plot. So these are some x points and the corresponding y points, y coordinates. And
Sir, what?
I'm
Sir, we can't see your home page.
is my screen not visible? Are you not able to see this import
Visible, sir.
matplotlib.pyplot?
Visible. Visible,
Okay,
sir.
okay.
Sir, what
So
library would you prefer from plotting Seaborn or Matplotlib?
so it depends actually. Like matplotlib is generally used, but if there are certain functionalities in Seaborn which are not in matplotlib, you can go for Seaborn as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So matplotlib.pyplot has PLT, and then you can just do plt.plot. Plot is a function in this matplotlib.pyplot. So I don't need to write matplotlib.pyplot every time. So I can just import it as PLT and then write plt.plot. X points, Y points. So it will just point this X, Y, and XY. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Okay. Similarly, um plotting without line. So if you just don't want to pull out lines, you can also give the marker over here. So in that case, if you just write plot x1, y, x points, y points, it will just simply connect the 2 points or multiple points with the line. But if you write a marker over here, let me just quickly show it to you. So if I don't give this marker, so it will plot this, but I can even have more points. Let's say uh, 10, and let me have a lower value 4. So it has plotted 1, 3, 8, 10, and 10, 4.
Sir, it is
But
necessary to import NumPy.
it's not necessary in this case. I just took a code from there. I can simply write like this as two lists, and let me just print. So it will do the same job. In certain cases, if you want to do some linear algebraic operations, in that case, you'll have to convert list to an array. But we'll discuss that later when we discuss NumPy. So by default, it plots it as a line, connecting it as a line. But if I want to have a marker over here, let's say O as a marker, so I can have this 3 points with O as a marker. It's like a point as a marker. I can even have a plus here. So you'll see that there are like small pluses over here for each of these points and so on. So you'll see all these details in W3 School. So let me go back over here. So you will have points, then you have multiple points, and then if you don't give the x values, it will by default take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then plot this corresponding y values that you are giving over here, and so on. So I'll recommend you go through all these tutorials on W3 School, and you'll get used to means get to know all these different aspects of matplotlib libraries, like what are the different types of markers you can use and so on. these are not all the things. Means Matplotlib is a wide vast library, so there is a lot of other things in Matplotlib which you can explore from other sources as well. Okay, so let us go on to this list. We'll discuss this join and other things later in the session, like in maybe in the next week. But for the time being, we'll just keep that. So there are certain questions. Let us do some one or two questions and then we'll stop the session here. Everyone, please be on mute. So dash is an method to insert an item into a specific position in a list. I've not discussed push pop, so that is, yeah. So yeah, that's the answer. But we'll see push and other operations as well later. Which method returns the number of occurrences of an element in a list?
Count, sir.
Yeah, please don't answer. Please be muted and then answer in chat. Okay, so count is the right answer. A function random. Okay, random we have not discussed. Okay, let me just quickly go on to random in Python. Yeah, so Python has a random module or random library which has all these functions. Let us see randint. So import random, and from random.randint 3 to 9 will give you a number between 3 and 9 both included. Okay, so let us try it over here. Let me just run this. Okay, this is pretty slow. I'll go and do this in the collab notebook. So import random.randint. I'll get some random. Every time I run this, I'll get some random value between 3 and 9. 3 and 9. I can also have 3 and 900, anything. So both are included in this. Okay, so this was randint, and there is another function called random in random library, random.random. It will just give you some random value between 0.0 and 1.2. So let us do this as well. So it will just give you some random number between 0 and 1, like a floating point number. And then there is another function called randrange. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, but you'll have to be careful. Like it will, uh, certain times it will, certain functions will have certain values included or excluded. So, for example, I've just given here. So in randint, it will include. So this square means included in mathematical notation, not in the Python syntax. So square means included, and the open bracket is this, sorry, the parenthesis means excluded. So in randint, start and end are included. In random, it will give you some random number between 0 and 1, but with 1 excluded. Randrange will give you number between start and end, but with end excluded. Okay. So let me go over here. So you can see the arrow here. So randrange can be converted to random if you just write 0 and 1 over here. But it will give you integer values only. Like it will give, uh, so this is nothing but just giving 0. So here it will give you any value between 0 and 1, the floating point value, but here it will give you only 0. Okay, so 0 and 9 randrange, it will give you from 0 to 1, and randint, it will be from start to end, and both start and end included. So these are some functionalities that you might have to remember. I'm not sure if they will ask such questions in, but this was discussed in one of the lectures. Okay, so a function random.randint 1 to 100 in Python generates. Yeah, let us have this as a last question. We'll discuss the other questions later. Week 1, 10th question. Okay, yeah. Okay. So yes, first is the right answer. And let me go on to the assignment. Okay, so the due date for submitting it's 5/2, it's over, and they've given the answer as well. So which is the query you have? Question number 10. Okay, so what task does the block below accomplish? So this might take a bit of time. So what is happening here is I'll quickly tell you, and maybe during next session we'll just simulate it in Scratch. So it is setting x to 0, y to 0, and repeating this particular thing 18 times. It is waiting for, in each of this iteration, it is waiting for 1 second, setting x to x, this variable x, setting y to y, variable y, and changing the value of x and setting y to something. Okay, so changing x by 1 means x equal to x plus 1. Setting x to x, so it is x equal to x, y equal to y, x equal to x plus 1, and y equal to this 0 minus x into x plus 17 into x. So this will be set to y will be set to y equal to this particular value, and then it will go on repeating this thing. Okay, so I hope you got the logic. We'll see this in the next class, next session in detail. Uh, I hope that's okay. Okay, and then there is question number 2, week 1 assignment, question number 10. Can you explain, sir? I understood. Okay, fine. This is what we have done. And then question number 2. We'll have to stop it now because it's already 8. But let me see if I can. Question 2. Which set of blocks move the cat 40 steps and then points down? So it will move 10 steps ahead and point in direction 180. So 90 degrees forward, 180 degree will
Sir,
be
not in
down.
assignment 2. Assignment 1, sir. Not in assignment 2.
Oh, and assignment 2. I see. Is okay. Yeah, answers are also given here. Which of the following code block prints Ramesh talks to Suresh and Kamlesh? So, Ramesh talks to Suresh and Kamlesh. This is straightforward, Reyes. Then you are concatenating these strings by plus, and then you'll have to note that there is a space over here. So yes, this is also the correct answer. And then Ramesh talked to Suresh, and so they, if you just separate it by comma, there will be by default a space added to over here. And Kamlesh, so this will also give you the correct. This is also in the correct answer. But in this case, Ramesh talks to plus, so there is no space here. So if there is a plus operator, it won't add space by default. It will just simply concatenate these two strings. So it will be Ramesh talks to Suresh concatenated and Kamlesh. So this is not an option. Is it clear?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll take other questions later, maybe in the next session. Please hold on to your queries. We'll definitely discuss them. Uh, so I hope this session was useful and
Useful and you.
you learned something from this. If you have any queries, please let me know in the next session.
So when will be the next session?
Oh yeah, thank you for
Oh yeah,
asking that.
thank you for asking that.
Please be on mute. Yeah, so next session, I'm thinking of preponing it next week because I'm traveling next Friday. So I'll let you know through, so you'll get an email. So keep checking your inbox. probably it will be on Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Not definitely not Monday, but Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll just let you know through the team, NPTEL team.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you learned something. And apologies for any mistakes if I have made any. Okay. Thank you. I'll end the session now.